an author friend of mine was struggling a lot with overwhelm. So she had a big to-do list and she just wasn't sure what to do next. I know sometimes when I have a really big to-do list, I get paralyzed in what I need to do next. So I found this conversation that we had very enlightening. And as I enjoy the creative process of helping other authors with their processes, I wanted to share some practical insights with you on how to unstick yourself from that feeling of overwhelm and frustration when you seem to have too much to do. Now, the beauty of this process in particular is that it doesn't just apply to writing related activities. So I'm going to give you this sort of framework, this blueprint that you can use over and over again when you are feeling frustrated with your to-do list. Now, there are 4 steps in this process: identify your goal, aligning with your goal, task evaluation, and task organization. Now, if you are currently feeling overwhelmed or you just want to take some notes to reference later, I recommend working through this process here with me, and you can always rewatch if you feel the need. But the beauty of having you here is that you can ask me questions, and if you're watching the replay, you can ask me questions in the comments below, and I'd be happy to dive in a little deeper with you. So the first step here is to identify your current goal. Now, during this conversation that I had with my author friend and conversations that I've had over and over again with my one-on-one coaching sessions, the overwhelm tends to come from wanting to do everything at the same time. It's not possible. I'm here to tell you that. Unless you are single, childless, and pay for every service that in your life that you could possibly need, it's really not possible. Now, I'm not saying give up on your goals entirely, not at all. But being realistic about your current season in life and the time that it affords you can be really helpful in steering clear from that frustration and overwhelmed. So whether you're a seasoned author or just starting, setting clear and specific goals will help us navigate our path of writing and publishing careers with purpose, intent, and really guide you through clarity and vision. So how do you choose what goal is important to you right now? So you can begin by introspecting. So what are you hoping to achieve right now? Yes, right now. What kind of goals are you looking at? Now, this shouldn't just be any target. It should be your target, one that aligns with your personal and professional aspirations. So I'd like for you to take a minute, reflect on your current primary publishing, or as I said, life goal. Think about that project that you are super passionate about right now. You got it? All right. So now that you have that thing in mind, I want you to sharpen it. So defining a goal requires thought and specificity. So it's not just saying what you want, but you have to ensure that it's aligned with your values and is also measurable. So for instance, instead of saying, I want to write more or I want to make more money, you could say, I want to write 20,000 words of my novel by the end of this month. Or I need to earn $5,000 by the end of this month. So with having specificity and a measurement, I'd like you to think of that goal you had and make it sharper and clearer based on those metrics. So once you've identified your goal, you want to align yourself and your tasks with that goal. So having a goal is just a start, but every day we make choices on how we spend our time. And aligning our actions with our goals ensures that we're not just being busy checking things off a to-do list, but we're being productive. Now, if you don't already have this, make a list of everything that's in your head. This not only reduces overwhelm, but it gives us the freedom to see the forest for the trees. So jot down everything, even if you're not sure that it even aligns with your goal yet. We'll get there in a second. Now, it's not just about adding tasks, but also filtering them. So once you sort of have your list down, take a look at it with a really fine-tooth comb. Look at each task. Does this task move me closer to my goal? If it does, fantastic. Circle it, highlight it. But if not, we move on to the next step of evaluating our tasks further. So you've aligned your tasks with your current goal. Now, what about the rest? So in that task list, are there tasks that are part of future goals that you want to do someday? Ones that either fall into a later step of your goal or in your ultimate goal, or ones that you need to push off till the next quarter, or you have to wait until your current goal is met. So I recommend using what I call a parking lot. So this is basically where tasks go to wait until I'm ready to use them. So when it comes to your parking lot, you can put it in your bullet journal if you use a bullet journal, or in a Google Doc, or anywhere that you can access it when you need it, all of your tasks that you want to accomplish someday, but just not right now. So after that, after you figure out where these tasks belong, those belong to your current goal, those belong in your parking lot, what about the rest? Now, if there's any tasks that you're looking at that sort of give you like an uneasy feeling, things that you really don't want to do, these can be administrative tasks that can possibly be delegated or automated, which I always love to do, or deleted entirely. So really look at these things and be honest with yourself and be realistic about your time. So now you can make adjustments. So as you're going through your list, you want to prioritize the tasks that align with your goal, delegate those that can be handled by others, and consider eliminating any that don't serve your goal. So it's not about doing everything, as I said, it's about doing the right things at the right time, and by being honest with what you want to achieve. So now you have a roadmap to guide you, which leads us to step number 4, which is task organization. So having identified, aligned, and evaluated your tasks, the next step is to organize them. So a cluttered desk with sticky notes or a chaotic to-do list can certainly be overwhelming. So organizing your tasks efficiently can provide clarity and reduce stress, allowing you to focus on what truly matters to you. Now, there are a bunch of ways to do this, and during that conversation with a friend of mine, I found this very enlightening. So there's 2 ways that we sort of discussed. Obviously, you don't have to do it either of these 2 ways. You got to work with you. But the first is my method, which is my preferred method of working inside of a calendar. So I like to work inside of Google Calendar. So I look on my calendar and I find my deadline. And then I work backwards in time and tweak, the steps it takes me, the tasks it takes me to get to that goal. Now, when I wake up in the morning, I already have my list ready to go of things I need to do to accomplish my goal. So the friend that I was talking to prefers to-do lists and whiteboard tracking. So that was interesting for me to sort of come up with a way that was less friction. I didn't want to change their process at all. So we were working together on a weekly basis on what needed to get accomplished based on their to-do list. And then we held off the rest of the tasks until after the current ones were complete. So either method is fine. Make sure it works for your brain. You don't want to start something new that has a lot of friction and doesn't work well for you. So the less friction we have, the better, really. So I hope these steps were something that you can utilize moving forward if you do feel overwhelmed in your process. And I would love to take some questions from you about this or anything publishing related. So I did want to remind you also too, So if you want to grab tickets to my August workshop, it is next week on the 17th. I'm going to be talking about creative assets and how to organize that. That would be fantastic to see you there, and you'd once again get some one-on-one time with me, and we can really work through how you can track all of your assets.